Shall we begin with some VOD review?
Yep, no problem.
Okay.
Also,
yeah.
So I just started Farseer yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, shall I first recap what I've been watching from the last 5 days to let you know what I know?
Yes, but please, okay, I'll almost say my piece. Okay, please do not break my brain.
No.
Like I got a good thing going. The last 2 days, I'm learning a lot. Like
Yep.
Farseer is good. I don't want to like get crazy with it.
I've always done my best with you, with coaching, memes aside, your accusations aside. I've always done my best with you, but my coaching approach will change as I see what you are capable of, your strengths and weaknesses. And I'm not going to tell you reasons anymore. I'm just going to tell you to fucking do something, and you better do it.
Okay.
Unless you disagree, but then it's on you.
Well, that which I do disagree with a lot, by the way. Just saying.
Yeah, which is fair.
There's some things that, dude, if in a perfect world they work out and with perfect players, but there's human elements to the game.
Yeah, of course. But look, can I remind you why you have the Raider Headhunter Kodo strategy? You asked me for a build that can work in every situation. Orc happens to be one of the most difficult races. And so if you want a build that works in every situation, I gave it to you, which is why I gave you Headhunter Raider Kodo Walker. It can work against everything. I saw you as an aggressive player that likes to push early advantage. This build is supposed to stay at tier 2 and attack with 50 or 60 population and end it. I basically gave you the equivalent of Paladin Rifle. Is it harder to play than Paladin Rifle? Yes, but it is what it is. You picked Orc, that's how it is. If you had asked me, can you give me like a noob build that, you know, works in 2 matchups, maybe I would have given you Headhunter Bloodlust, which you had some success with 5 days ago. All right, but like I can't give you that in good conscience because it won't work in every matchup.
Gotcha.
Okay, cool. I'm sharing your VOD. This was a very interesting game. Okay, cool. Okay, so you show up here. Soon there will be a fight in this base. And you had a position where your units are over chasing. So first of all, you're still rectangle box selecting. At some point you said F it. But by the way, first, I should go back a little bit. I know you changed your hotkeys 4 days ago to grid.
Yep.
I think it's a great choice. It's risky because you've already played over 100 games. But you invested and you looked a lot better yesterday. So that's nice. I was actually impressed with your Farseer harass in all the games. How you kept your macro up. How you got to tier 2. Your timings were still on point, even though you were non-stop harassing. Headhunter Farseer targeting was pretty good. You've obviously done some VOD study because you didn't suddenly make up this strat yourself, the Farseer Headhunter Rush.
Yep.
So you've done your homework. It looked good. Micro-wise, you peak in the first 5 minutes when you have a Farseer and a bunch of Headhunters. You control range much better than melee, and there's a reason for that, and I can help you fix that. Control grouping wise, you need to start control grouping. Everybody does it.
It is so hard. It is so hard.
Okay. Well, we can change how we group things together, right? You don't have to split by melee and ranged necessarily. Okay. So we can try some different configurations. Okay, let's play this a little slowly. There's a lot to unpack here. First of all, you've got more than 12 units, which means if you want to move in or move out, this takes you far longer than it needs to. I don't care what your groups are or if they make sense from a perspective of focus fire or tanking, etc. So long as you just throw one whole bunch of junk in one group and one in the other, you can start to do the very instrumental right click with group 1, right click with group 2. You want to go out? You press 1 right click behind you, 2 right click behind you. You want to go in? 1 A click into him, 2 A click into him. The problem here is that you constantly have lost sheep and there's nothing you can do about it so long as you don't control group. If I were you here, you can see my cursor, right?
Yeah.
I would quickly rectangle select this, control group 1. And then rectangle select this, control group 2. I don't even care if Kodo is in both groups, just so that you can do 1 click here, 2 click here, or 1 A click here, 2 A click here. It just takes too long. Like this, you already throw the fight because Raider is now going to get picked off and you're in no position to punish him. So this game, I brought it up because you mentioned some issues. Actually, let's look at your Farseer. Okay, watch what happens here. You have currently selected a group of 5 units, Farseer being one of them. You give a green arrow to the bottom left of his Arcane Sanctum. This is a right-click command. Currently your Farseer is selected. When I unpause it, Farseer will never be selected again. You see Farseer is not being touched. He's doing what you asked him to, which puts him in range.
I see, yeah.
Yeah, it puts him in range of Stormbolt and Arcane Tower. Arcane Tower burns mana, and for every point of mana it burns, it also deals damage to your hero. There's no resource more important outside of gold than mana on heroes. So a hero should never be attacked by Arcane Tower ever once. Getting it continually attacked is a lost condition. You got bolted and focused. The next thing that should happen, if you notice this, which I think you didn't, which is fine, you can't always notice everything, press F1 or whatever you bound F1 to, and immediately correct the situation that Farseer is getting targeted. Now you try to move him. There's no point because he's already been hit too much. He might have bash, which means you will still die. His bolt will be back up soon, which means you'll still die, and you blocked yourself. So part of a successful hero escape needs to not just be to select him and to move him away, but also first to create a breach in your own formation. So in this case, you would have to move your Tauren Chieftain away first, and then your Farseer. So anytime you want to save a unit, first make a breach in the middle by doing a rectangle select like this, moving the units aside, then save the hero. Okay. Besides looting Farseer, there were some other things.
Oh!
Okay, do you see the red circle around the Arcane Vault?
Yes.
This is you selecting 99% of your army and issuing a right-click command on Vault, which is interpreted as an attack command. That means no other unit is allowed to attack anything except the Vault until they reach it. Naturally, none of your units is in range, so you're currently doing a massive hug on him while he's free DPSing you. You probably...
So it was, did I 8-click the tower or just click?
I think, I can't tell from this, but I can tell if I rewind a bit. You either did an A left click or a right click. I doubt you would ever right click this, so I think it was an A left click, but let's go back a bit. It's right after Farseer died.
Oh!
Yeah, it was a left click, so you misclicked. You could tell because the bullseye was red right before you clicked it. So you tried to do an A move behind him, which would have been good. All your Taurens would be attacking. This Tauren would attack the Mountain King. This Tauren would attack these breakers. These 2 Taurens would attack the Water Elemental. But instead, because you misclicked, it's bad. Part of the problem is camera. How do you pan your camera?
A lot of times I think drag the screen like to the right or left. Or...
You do middle mouse button, hold, or do you edge pan?
Edge pan. What, you can hold middle mouse button?
Yeah, you can hold middle mouse button.
What does that do?
It grasps the map and then pulls the map as if you grab an item in real life and pull it, let's say.
What do you do?
I do a combination of edge panning and middle mouse button. I used to only be an edge panner, but Dota 2 taught me to... grab the map with middle mouse button. Try it out. It depends on the mouse whether that feels good. Some mouse have a wobbly middle mouse button.
My middle mouse button's broken.
Yeah. They often break. It's very hard to find a good one for it. So you're gonna have to edge pan. You can also do arrow keys on the keyboard. I doubt that will feel intuitive to you.
Yep.
Okay, so your camera here is a little bit bad, but there is still space over here. Where you can A-click. It's simply a misclick. I just want to help you understand that when your units feel dumb, it's not the game's fault. It's a misclick.
We'll see.
It's a misclick. So now you do a correct auto attack, which means all the Taurens are attacking. I've noticed you've started to do more disenchants, more spirit links. This is a good development. I've seen you do purges. I'm assuming that QWERTY grid hotkey setup has helped you to do more dispels.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, this is a shockwave on Spellbreakers, which are magic immune. All these guys are Spellbreakers, they're magic immune. So your shockwave should have gone here. Additionally...
My shockwave's magic damage.
Yes, every spell that a hero casts is called spell damage. You can also interpret this as magic, but it's spell damage. And the breakers are both spell and magic immune. So they cannot be attacked by a walker, nor by a chain lightning, nor by shockwave.
Okay.
Every unit except orc has one magic immune unit.
Oh, of course. Oh, of course.
You're also getting hit by Arcane Tower with TC, which is called bad positioning. And then you do a War Stomp on a single rifleman here. It's one rifleman War Stomp. You can see the stun effect is on him, but not on the breakers. So we need to do something about your control groups. Here you actually select all your units and you do a right-click command on his breaker. Walker cannot attack breaker, which means he will attempt to walk to the breaker's location, because that's the only way the walker can interpret a right-click command.
Okay.
And this Tauren is out of range of the breaker, so instead of doing a very high-value pulverize attack here, he's going to try to path around, but he can't. So he's going to get stuck. Maybe he will go all the way like this. Maybe he'll go all the way like this. So your ranged micro is quite good, but your game knowledge is lacking. Magic immunity on breakers means walkers should not be involved in attack on breakers, because they will melee. They will go near and then they will die. You will see what happens to the walker. Your ranged unit target fire is quite good. You've got that ADC in you from League. But your melee needs to be left alone. You do one attack command and then you don't touch them anymore. Except to do a pocket select here where you say, hey, you guys, you go here. If there's space to go here. You wouldn't do that now. I'm just giving you an example of what melee might do, where you do a small rectangle pocket select on melee and you put them on a new place. The walker goes melee until he could get no nearer. Now he starts attacking again. He attacks whatever he can, which is this water elemental. Okay, I think that's enough for this fight.
Attack.
Let's go to the next fight.
Can you mute me, please? I'm not trying to hear me baby rage, bro. Come on.
All right, muted.
Thank you.
There was another situation a little bit earlier which was relevant. Okay, so this is not 100% your fault. I mean, it is. It is. I mean, okay, it's your fault.
Damn.
I mean, it's a skill issue, but also it's a little bit the game. I've seen the other OnlyFangers have this issue as well. It's a visibility with health bars. So watch what happens with the TC. Right now, the TC's health bar is very obvious. Note that there's a special hero border around. There's a border that separates his health and his mana. We see him quite clearly now. You can see that the footman health bar actually goes over his health bar.
What the fuck?
Now it's under. I don't know the exact rules governing it. Now they mob him so much. And then you've got like the blue DK, his name. So you can see that he's orange here. You can see that there's missing health. But it takes an experienced eye to see it. His health bar is now almost completely covered by these two health bars from the footman. So I know from experience that you're not going to see this. You can look here in the top left.
Yep.
And also you can wonder, where is all the damage going by visually confirming who the units are attacking. You can also see that the Tauren underneath him is not losing any health. The Headhunter is not losing any health. So you need to kind of have a radar develop. I don't know how you're going to do it. This is very personal, but heroes need to be minded more than any other unit. And so if this doesn't help, you know what you can do is you can actually pan the camera up. If you edge pan until this becomes the bottom of your screen rather than this, then the way that the 3D perspective works in this game is that it will separate more. The further to the top of your screen, the more overlay there is, because we are watching this sorceress more from the side. You look at this Kodo beast here, right? We're practically bird eye view to him, but the sorceress is 3D. Yeah. So if you drag the camera with middle mouse button, or in your case, you will edge pan like this, you will start seeing the TC health bar again.
Okay.
And alternatively, you can just select him or try to notice visually that he's being attacked. Okay, your groupings. I see you do a lot of effort to do like groupings, but you only do it like once out of 10 times.
Yes, because it fucking disaster, and I forget which one's which. Then I'm like, oh wait, I gotta tap. Yes, it fucking.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do you think the solution is? Because you need to use control groups. It's holding you back more than almost anything.
I don't know because I don't know. I've even me thinking about it right here. It's like I don't know. It's like scrambled in my brain.
Do you ever select your headhunters to focus fire enemy units by themselves by like double clicking them or control left click?
Yes, I do that.
Okay. If you do that, then how about we for now start using control groups not by type, not by separating type and making sure they're always in the right group. How about we start creating a ragtag band of adventurers? Doesn't matter who's in it. We just make group 1. When it's full, we make group 2. And then in the fight, you will click the units as needed. You will start fights with 1A left click, 2A left click. Doesn't matter who's in the group. You just make sure they're at least all attacking. And then once the fight begins, you will not use control groups again. Because if you do, then you will make your torrents attack griffins, which doesn't work.
Okay, so whenever I get the 50 pop, whatever, I can have a Spirit Walker and a Raider in the same group.
Yeah. I don't love it, but maybe we need to at least try it out.
Yep.
So that we start seeing your control groups as your macro movement into battle, out of battle, from one creep camp to the other, from one base to another, from one point to another. It becomes a vehicle for movement so that you can stop doing like rectangle click every time you get to a shop, get to your expansion. No more sorting units.
This is so hard.
We just add everything to the group. Even if it's in multiple groups, it's kind of whatever, but you can always like reform your groups. You'll be like box select, roughly like box select like this, control group 1, and then box select like this, control group 2. And
what timestamp? Like as soon as the game starts?
I mean, I think there's no comment to your early game. Like your Farseer opening games looked really solid. There are some improvements I want to talk about when you do Farseer, Headhunter, Harass, but I don't have any control group recommendations because I feel they should follow problems. I don't see a lot of micro problems that need to be solved with control groups, but you're like big battles. Like if you wanted to leave here, you would have to quickly rectangle select everything. Whereas if other players leave, they just do 1 click, 2 click. So you do some rectangle select here, you try to attack the breaker, watch what happens to your walker because he can't listen, he has to go forward. Here again, right? You see how the walkers melee the breaker?
Yeah, I did.
But you didn't know.
I didn't know they couldn't attack spell breakers, by the way.
Yeah. I think here you start disenchanting, which is nice. Get disenchant targeting. Oh, skill build on Tarn Chieftain. I'm sure I'm not the first to say it, but I hope you will listen. No triple skill build.
Yeah, no, I stopped. It's just,
okay.
What do you max though?
Whichever one you pick.
So
never,
like E? Because
never,
I'm maxing E.
Almost never. So usually it's like level 1, you could open E sometimes to save mana, to save all your mana for when you're higher level. Sometimes you go level 1 E. The mobility is nice, and because level 1 Stomp and Shockwave suck ass anyway.
Okay.
But after whatever you do at level 1, by level 3, you want to max a damage spell, whether it's the stun or the Shockwave. And by level 5, you want to again max a damage spell, whether it's the stun or the Shockwave. Keep in mind, Tome of Retraining, 200 gold at the shop, Goblin Merchant, the neutral.
Okay. So you're not starting with E every game?
Not necessarily. It depends. So if you're getting rushed by 5 footmen on your burrows and your TC comes out, you'll take Shockwave.
Gotcha.
Against human, generally, Shockwave is quite reliable. War Stomp is a little harder. Shockwave can be cast from far. War Stomp has to be cast from close. So if you get bolt focused when you're trying to get in a perfect War Stomp location, you're at more risk than if you just run a Shockwave from afar and keep your TC floating.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Here you are suffering from a game engine problem. There is a weird bug. I'm not trying to make this too complicated to you, but I'm explaining it because it matters. When you have a Kodo in your selection, your mouse clicks become less accurate when you right click. because the Kodo is a big old fat ass. So it's trying to find pathing for the Kodo or something. It's trying to find collision for the Kodo. I don't know why. So you're now trying to attack the Mountain King or surround him or whatever, but you're going to struggle to even click him. And this is not a skill issue. It's because you selected a Kodo in your group. Watch what happens.
Fucking orcs suck.
Watch what happens. You're trying to click him, but now look how you're, like, it's tough to click him correctly. It gets easier if you left click. If you have a Kodo in your group, a left click becomes a lot more reliable than right click. Okay, it's good that you went to make an expansion. Technically, I've given you a rule. If you have 600 gold, tier 3, that you will always prioritize tiny great hole over great hole. Of course, you didn't know that rule then, because this is in the past. And of course, because you don't have a hero at home, now it's valid to expand. This was a really good expansion timing by you.
Thank you, okay.
However, you have to first cover your ass that the most... Like, what would be the worst thing that could happen here in this attack?
We die. Everybody dies.
Not
I
everybody.
overstay, I get low HP, so I can't defend or cancel his expo. I don't know.
Well, let me ask another question first. If you were to run away here... Now, how many units would die maximum if you were to walk away with everything?
Are they chasing me? I would say none.
None
summons?
or one.
The Kodo, this fat shit, always dies late.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to get at is he has Stormbolt. He has a form of crowd control. It's single target. So if you were to walk away with everything now, you will lose 1 unit maximum. And if you were to lose any 1 unit of the units that you have here, who is the most valuable?
Is it the Kodo?
Farseer.
Oh, my champ.
So if you want a macro now, you first need to make sure that the most valuable thing doesn't get lost. So let's say if you're very fast, it's almost not an issue. But if you're a little slower, which is normal under 2k MMR, first you take your Farseer hotkey, you move him here. And then you move the rest of your army, you move it here, whatever. But just make sure the Farseer's further, because you just saw Mountain King leave. He still has mana. Okay. You're chasing. You click tower. Okay. How did you leave your Farseer? You attack the tower with everything, which means Farseer Kodo will stay at range and Torrents will be north. So you've essentially turned your back on an enemy. Now you're expanding.
Oh, so they can come back. That happens a lot to me, actually.
Yeah, and that's because it's not just like it's like you need to first fix the greatest risk of your micro before you're allowed to macro. The greatest risk.
So I should have walked to the other side of the turret so that my melee are facing them.
Yes.
And then my ranged are back towards my base.
Yes, and in general, anytime a battle is going on that is not high risk and you're allowed to look away, but there is a risk of loss, you should first just walk away. Just like habitually walk away every time before you macro. It's really good that you think of macro, but we need to back it up with a move back with everything you have, because the worst thing that could happen, of course, there's a little bit of additional not responding where, your Farseer is 60% life, enemy has a level 2 Stormbolt, he's got some focus fire units. Like, I see this, I'm not afraid for your Tauren, right? Because he's 1,600 or 1,300 health. Kodo, 1,000 health. Your casters, well, they're just support units. When I see this, I'm feeling like, oh shit, your Farseer doesn't have any survivability items, is standing too close. And then he thunderclaps, which is like, oh, well, we don't care about that. But just because he did the wrong thing doesn't mean you didn't make a mistake. So... Yep. We got to be a little bit safer with the hero. And then, let's see. Same thing here, right? You attack the town hall. You just killed units, so you feel like you're winning. You're not wrong, but it's ugly if you end up losing too many units. Like you're dragging it out. So,
I got you.
Yeah, here first we move our Farseer here.
So, yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. That actually happened a lot today, too. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah. And any lookbacks when you're in combat need to be maximum 2-3 seconds. It cannot be 10. Okay, but you still ended up winning this game.
I did? I thought I lost. Are you sure?
Really? I thought
I lost it. I think you got Griffins and I lost.
Nah, you won this one,
not.
right? Am I crazy? Yeah, you
I
won.
won. You're right.
Yeah.
Yo. Nice. Who's the next guy then?
Yeah, you played against a Griffin guy, which was interesting. You mostly like won every game you played in like 5 minutes. Like people at your level.
Yeah, because I'm a fucking micro freak.
Early
You
game,
can't
yes.
handle the pressure.
Early game, yes. Okay, let's look at a couple other things. I had some other notes. Okay, we're gonna control groups very shoddily, and just move around. And then in battle, you do rectangles or double clicks. Okay. Next big problem is you're actually, in a way, you're one of the most flexible onlyfangers so far because you're playing lots of different strats. But in a way, you're also not as flexible as you could be, given with how many different units you've used, because you have certain go-to compositions. You actually play a relatively difficult composition to play, and there's many ways you could play it better. For instance, did you know that Spirit Walkers can revive Torrents?
I did. My chat has been telling me, but I have never done it ever.
Okay, you've had the upgrade before. You don't usually have it, but you have had games yesterday where you had the upgrade, you had a dead Torrent, you had the mana, you had the cooldown available, but you didn't press it.
I did it and never. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't even cross my mind.
Also, when you were getting all the upgrades, remember when you used to go 3-3-3 on Warmill?
Yeah.
You were also always getting Kodo Drums upgrade, but you have stopped doing that since. It's still a very good upgrade. It's 10% damage.
Okay, so I'm getting the Kodo.
Yeah,
like,
definitely.
Should I get it? Is that like one of the main things I should get when it's Tech 3?
I think Berserker training is more important if you still have a reasonable amount of Berserkers. Berserker training is more important, but you do want to get Kodo Drums ideally after Berserker training when you have Lumber and Gold.
Okay.
I've seen you sometimes started to use Mass Heal Solve with Hotkey.
Yep.
Which is nice. It's fast, but you still sometimes crouch on mouse clicking. Try to completely eliminate that habit, temporarily sacrificing comfort for long-term improvement. Only do with hotkey. Or
Talk
almost,
about items.
Almost only.
Or
Yeah.
everything.
Like heal solve. You want to do one heal solve, you tend to mouse click.
It has to be on TY. It has to be on TY. If it's on TY, I'll do it.
Yeah.
But
Then
not like right here. It's on. That's my H key.
Yeah. Then try to move it every time. Every time when you have time.
Yeah.
It's okay to sometimes mess up, but try to at least practice always using it.
Bro, this game is so dog shit. You know, in League, that that you can rewire the settings so that every time you buy a certain item, it'll auto go to that key.
I love that. That's a really good idea, but I don't know if that would 100% work here with how many different items you could have.
Oh, at the same time. Oh, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah, but I do think that's very cool. And in Dota 2, it remembers your control groups from last game. So the first time you make a Torrent, it will be added to the group, that kind of thing.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
See, that's what I was bitching about before.
Yeah, I know. We don't have that, but, you know, it is what it is. Gotta adapt. Okay, you were doing a lot better against Necromancers because you've started to use Disenchant. I still think you are not recognizing danger to hero. Like here, you were fast enough. But basically, you probably respect Orb of Corruption already. Like how much damage that stupid thing does.
That is... I don't know what that is.
Okay. So once the Lich starts making this sound... and he has an orb...
Did that sound again? Wait, I actually didn't hear it.
No, I think you heard it.
No, I actually didn't. I swear to God.
Okay.
I swear to God. No, we did not.
You ever hear that sound?
Now I heard it. What the fuck? Okay.
I mean, I don't know. I can't do the sound that well. But basically, they have a 375 gold item. They put it on the Lich, and it's a damage amp. It becomes purple. The Lich, instead of a blue projectile, he gets a purple projectile. It makes a different sound, and it applies a -5 armor, -4 or 5 armor. And it's like plus 30% damage or something. Plus 25% damage.
Gotcha.
So the Lich is going to be attacking your TC soon. Not yet. But now he is. And he just takes a lot of damage. So armor rings, we love those against undead. Because it blocks the orb effect a lot. And when we are getting attacked with anything by orb, it is good to just walk it away for a bit. And this is true in general. Anytime opponent has chosen to attack something, it is considered good micro hygiene to move it back. So technically, these shamans are at more risk than your Kodo, but because he has chosen to focus fire Kodo, if you can move the Kodo back, there's a chance all his army chases stupidly through yours.
and then it's all fucked for him. Like
Yeah.
a
So
lot for me. I got you.
we're constantly trying to fuck their movement and to make sure that our APM spam is beating his. So if every single time he attacks a unit, you move it back habitually, and he does the same, then the one that does it better will have better army composure.
Ah, okay. So I'm not necessarily waiting for them to get low.
Yes, exactly.
Gotcha. As soon as I know some attack, just move it back. Just move
Yes.
Am I moving it? So when do I move it back forward?
You'll move it here, and then just leave it there because it wasn't that low yet. These two shamans, if you have the mental availability to do what needs to be done, what would need to be done here is that you rectangle click these two, click them on the minimap here, and then shift click them home.
Okay.
That's the optimal move right now. Rectangle click, right click them here, and then shift click them home. And remember not to use your control group again in a fight. You need to have like, do you know how like when you're at an event and you shake everyone's hand, you remember not to touch your mouth?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like that. The moment you've done something like this,
Good one. Okay.
like you've sent units away that are low, that are not allowed to come back, you need to have like a thing in your mind, like I've got germs on my hands, like I can't use my control groups anymore.
Okay. So by the way, here I was thinking, if I in a perfect world, like I could have fucking done some crazy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. I thought I had a heal pot.
Well,
I was like, I'm gonna trade my Tauren chieftain a pot, and he's gonna live. But it was a solve.
Yeah, I mean, it's not true for the... I saw you were like considering heal solve on TC or something. I mean, there's nothing to say here. TC shouldn't have come back. But let's talk about what we could do. Let's look at your Chain Lightning. Chain Lightning is available now, 1612. Right, we should be spamming it. You have near full mana. We want to go 0 mana every time on cooldown. We want to Chain Lightning, even if there's no immediate kill target. And so sometimes replay review isn't about looking at the big things. You could just pick any random thing and replay review. It's 1635, so it's been 20. Oh wait, it's been 23 seconds since you last cast Chain Lightning. Since it was available, actually, it's been longer than that. You have had Chain Lightning up for 23 seconds. You haven't cast it yet. Like, sure, you might use it now when something is nearly low, or maybe you won't. I don't know. I haven't seen this game before. No, we just don't use it. So my suggestion would be sometimes do VOD review for yourself and just pick any random thing. Is my Farseer using abilities? Is my TC using abilities? How long before I use the ability did I use it?
Okay.
Oh, okay. There were some moments where you saw an enemy has an expansion. This was a smackdown. This was crazy. Sometimes enemy has expansion, and there's things you could do, like this game, for instance. Feral Spirits level 3. They're invisible. Yes.
Wait, Feral Spirits level 3. They're what'd you say?
They're invisible.
Who?
The
Feral? Who are you talking about?
The wolves that Farseer summons.
They are?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
Tooltip
No, I
reading.
just summon them. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the ones you summon. Once they're level 3, these are invis. He currently does not see them. He knows you.
What?
Yeah. He doesn't see them now. Now he sees it because this wolf here auto-attacked.
Didn't know that.
I mean, it's
only
not
level 3?
It's not that obvious. Yeah, only level 3. So level 1 are small. Level 2 are bigger, and they no longer fit in the same crevices. And they do crits. Level 3 have the same size as level 2. They still do crits. They're still bigger. But they're also invis. And they do more damage. And have more health. So, level 3 Feral Spirits, I'll call them wolves if you like, are fantastic worker harass tool. On acolytes and peasants in particular. And peons. Wisps, it's a bit harder because, they hide in all these places. What you could do here, this fight looks like an easy win, yes? So we take these two wolves and we send them in the worker line. Workers have priority aggro over towers. So even though those towers are shooting the wolves, so long as these wolves are here in the worker line, they will devastate the entire peasant line, killing his future income and removing future reinforcements.
Okay.
Every time
How long do they last, the dogs?
Long. 1 minute, exactly. and you can resummon them after 30 seconds, which of course voids their initial life, right?
Yep.
So we want to see that a lot more. Sometimes you are in games, you are wondering if they have an expansion. You have a full mana Farseer. The correct answer every single time when you have Farseer level 5 with Wolves, level 3, is to summon Wolves and Scout. I heard you say you don't want to waste mana on it. It's not a waste. It's a good idea not to waste mana, but it is so worth it. So we're going to do a lot of Feral Spirit scouting. We're going to send them to all the enemy possible gold mines on the map, any possible expansion locations. Once you've confirmed he has one, you take a look at it. If it has anything less than 5 towers, 2 wolves will kill many peasants.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
At level 5.
Yeah, once Farseer... I mean, we almost always go wolves max at level 5 Farseer. But if you're against griffins, we sometimes go Chain Lightning max. Because it's a way to deal with air.
Okay.
In this game, Chain Lightning max would be very good. Look at your mana pool again on Farseer. This is so far a systemic issue.
Yep.
Maybe you are saving Chain Lightning until it's lethal.
I'm probably not using it.
Okay,
That's just it.
that's fine.
This
Yeah.
is my first day. This is my first day.
Yeah, of using Farseer, yes.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't waste my last Chain Lightning for just poke damage. But I will waste my first Chain Lightning for poke damage.
Okay.
And I want to get my second Chain Lightning out. Otherwise, my fourth Chain Lightning will never happen. Yeah, you now know Earthquake is a channel. You also know it has 1,000 range instead of melee.
Is it dog shit? It's dog shit, right?
It's pretty bad. And that's why I told you yesterday it's kind of like a level 7 ability.
Yeah.
But it can be good. It has like 1,000 range. It will outrange Arcane Tower. And it's a channel, so you should only do it if you're willing to protect your Farseer. You have to have your army around it. And then if he wants to come and cancel it, you punish with Ensnare, Purge, and War Stomp. Okay, Demolisher use. It's interesting how you have developed attack ground usage. A lot of people don't know about this, don't use it. There is a place to use it. Possibly you overuse it. Why do you attack ground?
It's easier, I think. So it doesn't, so that like, it doesn't do anything goofy. I know exactly where it's gonna hit. I don't know.
Yeah,
Somebody
okay.
used it against me. I just used it. Plus, does it do AoE as well?
Yeah.
Does that ground not do AoE?
Yeah, it does. And there are definitely cases to use it. If you're getting tower rushed, you definitely want to AoE on the tower with attack ground. Because if you right-click this tower, if there's 12 peasants standing around it and repair, you right-click it, it does 0 damage on peasants. And full to tower. But if you attack ground in the middle or near the middle, like one of the 4 corners that's still on the hitbox of the Arcane Tower, you do an attack ground command here. It will still do 100% on tower, but also do significant damage to the peasants on this corner.
Why does it work like that's weird?
Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, because you would think if you attack around the middle, it would do 0 splash, because that would be like the same as right-clicking it. But it's just that's just not how it works. So against tower rushes or tower defense, we definitely want to attack ground. But there are some things to keep in mind. The center of damage is 100% of its advertised damage. There is a 50% zone. And there's a 25% zone.
Okay.
So if you make sure that the bullseye is enough on the hitbox of the building, you're most likely getting your 100% on the main target and collateral damage. But this shot is most likely only 25-25 on these 2 buildings.
Okay.
So you would rather just click a building. And there's also more upkeep when you do attack ground, because if you do an attack ground command, then it will never stop doing it until you give a new command, which means that I've sometimes seen you have demolishers in battles where they were attacking a dead zone several times instead of auto-acquiring a valid target.
Yeah, I mean, I would never. You told me to never even build the pile of shit. So a lot of time I don't do it, but I literally cannot fucking siege without. I don't know.
Yeah, but there are some ways.
I can't siege regardless.
Yeah, that demo game with the weird guy with the mass towers and demos. There's something to learn, but I'm not going to dive into it because I think it's a waste of time since none of your opponents are going to play like that.
Yeah, they're gonna play Paladin Rifleman, Paladin Rifleman, Paladin Rifleman. How about a counter for that? How about we coach up that?
Yes.
Fucking can't stand humans.
Yes, we should. Like right now, besides these control issues and hero awareness, hero ability usage, scouting, wolf usage, control grouping, attack move, and not misclicking, I think the next topic on the table is, like you said, Pala Rifle.
Jesus, that's a big table we got.
I'm just summarizing what we already talked about, right?
Yeah.
I just kind of like to recap so that we know what you have to work on. And now Pala Rifle.